everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of The Lunch Bunch. It's episode 68, and we have a very, very, very special guest today, David Amerlin. He wrote this book called SEO Help. I read it, and I loved it. So I'm really excited to talk to David and have him join us at the table.
Hi, I'm really glad to be here. It's been a year. I can't believe it.
People are going back to SEO when we've been talking about marketing, content marketing a lot over the last year. So why do you think that is?
There are still specific markets where if you just stick to very traditional SEO right now, it will still work well enough for you to be able to justify it. There are other markets where it doesn't. And companies never change unless they absolutely have to, because that's the way we operate. So until they see a change which gives them diminishing returns, they won't do that.
You said that Google Plus is the only viable shortcut left. Why do you think there's so much resistance?
If you come into Google Plus, it may take you a month plus to begin to become familiar with it before you begin to realize what it actually gives you back in terms of your time. So it has a lot of dense layers to it and takes time to unpack. That creates an immediate resistance threshold for anybody who thinks, I'm going to come in, it's easy adoption, I'm familiar with the social media web, I know what I'm doing. The answer to that, no, you don't within Google Plus. It is very complex. You need to take time to actually invest in it.
So Nazim says the level of complexity on Google Plus is a big turnoff for my clients and friends. And I think everybody on this panel can attest that we've heard that complaint before.
Are there things that we tend to miss that we could immediately start honing in on after this conversation and say, hey, these are a couple of things that David sees a lot. If I'm doing them, I can make a change right now.
Be yourself at a very real level, which means that at some point you have to be able comfortably to express a certain degree of vulnerability, because that's what actually allows us to respond more honestly and openly to people.
At a particular point, doesn't incumbency give an inherent advantage to people who've already done it, and latecomers just are going to miss the boat?
So let's go back to the beginning where we said you need to define who you are and why you do what you do. If you do that, then you need to define the difference. What's different about you? Are you doing things exactly the same as those 1,000 other businesses? Well, if that's the case, you've got a hard sell, because why should anyone come to you? But if you're doing something differently, well, great. Let's see what you do differently. This is what I want you to show me. And at the same time, if somebody has written content which you also want to write, link to them and say, there's a really cool article which comprehensively answers this, and it's there. And send somebody there to perhaps your competitor. But at the same time, they've done the job, right? And not acknowledging them is silly, because if I do a search, they will come up. I will find them on my own. The very fact that you're confident enough to link me to your competitor sometimes makes me think that, hey, that's really cool. This is how it becomes very nuanced at a very human level. So we go through now what I call a period of humanization of marketing, where we still market in terms of we need to tick all the boxes, we need to have the content, we need to have the links, we need to have the technically authoritative content and style, but at the same time, I need to see that human contact, that human attitude, and if that isn't there, if I'm getting a sense that you're really hard selling to me behind a facade, I resist any kind of connection and I move away. And that's a very human response.
So this has been a great show. I want to thank everybody, and especially David, for showing up. We've learned so much. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week for episode 69. Bye-bye.